What's up, y'all? So back in 2011, 2012, probably like a year before I decided to move to Texas and get into real estate, I had went to go visit a doctor because I was noticing that I was always having kind of like headaches and my heart was always beating fast for some reason or another. Like my chest was always tightening up and I really didn't know why, and I felt like it could have been something serious. And so I went and visited a doctor. They were asking me all these questions and everything, and then I had a follow-up appointment shortly after that with the same doctor where we kind of went through some of the same stuff, and they were asking me about my day and things that I did and all this kind of stuff. Well, the result of that came out to me being diagnosed with depression and anxiety. They actually prescribed me medicine at that time, based on just everything that I had said and the symptoms that I was feeling. I had to take this medicine, and I was taking it for a good little while, and I noticed that it did help. The reason why I'm making this video is because I want to just bring some things to light and just kind of tell you about where I was in life prior to getting into real estate and prior to the Chastin that you see now, because I was honestly headed down a dark path. I felt like I wanted to do great in life, but the things that I was actually doing, who I was around, and what we were about wasn't really equaling that. Like, it kind of was a little bit. A majority of the things that I was doing was not. I was living a life where, let's just say, I was very recreational. I mean, I was going out to the club multiple days a week, like multiple days, because every different night of the week there was a different theme, where on Mondays we go here, on Fridays we go to here, on Wednesdays and Thursdays we go here. Same group of people, just going out, drinking a lot, smoking a lot. Like, I remember this one day, this was probably a few weeks before I ended up dropping out of college, and it was the end of the semester where me and some of my roommates, we decided that nobody was around, or we didn't think nobody was around. We decided to smoke on campus in some dorm rooms. The roommate that we decided to smoke in their room, they weren't there at the time. So we were like, oh yeah, let's go smoke in his room so none of our rooms will smell, and he's not here, he's not gonna care. We literally blew it up in that room. I mean, we were doing the most. As we finished, we decided that we're gonna go outside. We're gonna go outside and smoke a cigarette, right? So we're walking out of the dorm room. Next thing you know, these two officers are like passing us by. I was real high. I noticed them in slow motion. They stopped like midway down the hallway, and they turned back and looked at us, right? We're walking, because we're trying to get outside so they don't stop us, and they just say,
hey, stop right there.
They weren't even there for us, but they smelled it when we opened the door, and they were like,
all right, who's got the stuff?
And none of us were trying to admit it. They were like, okay, we're gonna come search your place. So they went to my one roommate's room, they didn't find nothing. They went into my room, they didn't find nothing. Well, really, they weren't looking around in the rooms. They were just trying to smell it to see which room they were going to search, but they didn't smell nothing in my room. Another roommate's room, they didn't smell nothing in his room. And that fourth one, the door was closed, and since he wasn't there, they couldn't go in his room, which that was the room that we were in. And so they didn't go in there. Still, they put us out in the hallway, and they were trying to search us, and we had to say if we had something or not. Well, none of us had anything. There was this one person, she was a female, she had something, she had it on her, and she admitted to having it. They ended up taking her in. They didn't do anything to us. That completely shook us. I mean, that completely shook me, and I was just like, man, that was my closest call that I ever had. I would have disappointed so many people. I mean, and it was just kind of like a turning point in my life, because I was just like, man, what am I doing? I was about to go to jail that night. Like, I was about to be in jail. I'm all the time just drinking, hanging out, going to the clubs, about to drop out of school. Just like, what am I doing? And so it wasn't even like an instant, okay, I'm gonna be on the straight and narrow. But what I did trying to do was try to start doing more things that I felt like could make me money. You know, I was like, man, I'm tired of all this. I need to come up. We need to do some things differently. So we were doing anything and everything we can do to make money, you name it, selling mixtapes. We started making music. Like, I was living in Atlanta at the time, so music was a thing. We started making music, trying to sell mixtapes. I was singing on them. I was doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, just very counterproductive things, but it was all part of the mission. Then, you know, I got involved in all those different businesses, you know, all those different multi-level marketing businesses that you recruit people in and do this and that. And once again, like, I wasn't making much of any money, and I felt like I was just spinning my wheels. You know when you all the time feel like you're trying to come up, and nothing is happening and nothing is working the right way. Spending all your money on this stuff, and you're seeing these people around you who are saying that they're successful, but none of this is happening for you, and you start questioning, what are you meant to do here, and why are you even here on earth? Like, I was feeling that all the time. I ended up starting to make graphics for people. Like, I got real good with Photoshop. I started making graphics for people. That graphic stuff turned into like printing. So I got a printer, and I started printing business cards and postcards and all that kind of stuff, and started a little printing company. Well, me and one of my roommates at the time, we decided to build this printing company and all this kind of stuff. We started getting into the film industry over in Atlanta, because this is when the film industry was really coming about. We started getting into the film industry and got this one big contract, right? There was this film festival out there, and we got this contract to supply all of their programs, right? So we had to produce literally like 1,000 programs. They were multi-pages, all these sponsors, all these stories, full color, this and that. I didn't even have the equipment to do this job, so I ended up leasing one of those like big office printers, right? Spent my last on supplies, on this printer, on this and that. I was supposed to be mingling with all these different celebrities, supposed to get all these different orders. You know, they kind of promised the world. The film festival came around, we delivered what we had to deliver, and these people basically screwed us. Like, they didn't even give us a shout out. I mean, a celebrity was supposed to be presenting this award to us. That didn't happen. It was just done at that point. Our business that we started didn't have any more money. We had this printer. We spent everything. Like, that was the end. And I was just like, I cannot keep doing this anymore. Like, I'm done with all this. Where did I turn? I turned back to just being in the club. I wouldn't say that I was like an alcoholic or anything. It was just, that was the only time that I was having a good time, because my daily life, like me going into work, a job that I didn't want to be at, and me trying to hustle on the side, make something of myself, nothing was working. So literally the club was just my outlet, and that's what I was doing. It ran me into the ground to the point where my depression got even more. I got even more depressed. My anxiety was at an all-time high. I literally didn't know what to do. I was probably one step away from just throwing it all away. What I decided to do, and if y'all remember some of my other stories, this is when I tried to get in real estate back when I was in Georgia, but had to drop out of the real estate school because I couldn't afford to make the next payments. Well, this is part of the reason why I couldn't afford to make further payments, because my money was being spent elsewhere. And it was at that moment that I decided that I wanted to leave Georgia. And when I say leave Georgia, this wasn't no plan for me to move and go away. This was like an overnight thing where it was like, I'm out of here. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm leaving. And I packed up all my stuff. It wasn't like a U-Haul. It was like one of those where you pack the box and they pick it up and all that kind of stuff. And I drove all the way across the country to start a new life here in Texas. I thought that moving to Texas would solve all my problems, and essentially it did, because I'm here where I am today. When I originally got here, as most of you know if you've watched some of my other videos about me getting started in real estate, you know that it got deep again. Like, it got deep. I thought that this was going to solve all of my problems. I still had to go through some stuff. Looking back, which is kind of the reason why I'm being open and public about this, is it's like I'm telling myself and recalling seeing what I went through, where I was before versus where I am now, I want to say if you are dealing with any type of depression or anxiety, things like that, just know that you're not alone and it's okay. I wasn't calling that on me. I didn't necessarily want that. I didn't want to be on that medication, but it is what it is. You know, something that I wish that I would have did. I wish that I would have been more open about it and talked to somebody. You know, I didn't even talk to my family about it until it was, well, like I was spiraling out of control. Like, I want to say that talk to somebody, you know, be open about it, and that it's not the end of the world because life can go on. I'm glad that I didn't destroy myself. You know, nowadays I can recognize those triggers that used to happen before, like certain moments that I may experience, and then I'm like, wait a minute, you know, I can either choose to go left or I can choose to go right with this. You know, where am I going to take it? And so when I recognize those triggers, I know how to handle them a lot better. One big thing that I even practice a lot today is being okay with your current state of being. You know, we all want more out of life. We want to be successful. We want to build businesses. We want to be on top, but you have to be okay with where you are right now and know that there is a future. Everything doesn't have to happen at this one moment. If you make steps towards the goal, you'll look back and realize, dang, I've come a long way. Today, like my purpose in making this video and me recalling where I was, because I can really see that progression. I can see how far I've come, okay? But if you would have asked me before, would I be in this place? I would have told you no. You know, I wanted to be successful. I didn't know what success looks like. I didn't know what it really took. I just knew that I wanted money, but see, I wanted money for all the wrong reasons. Because if I would have got the money back then, guess what I would have blew it on? And guess what I would have been doing with it? I needed to be taught some lessons. I needed to be broken down, right? I needed to feel a certain type of way. My life had to damn near be destroyed by me, like nobody else. It was by me. Yeah, I've been screwed by people a few times, but at the end of the day, it was my actions that were bringing on more of that, you know. And so what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that everything that happens for a reason. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You know, if you're feeling like you're not making it, or it's not happening for you, I want you to look back and see just how far you've come, and notice the little changes. Notice the people that are around you now. Notice the opportunities that are in front of you. Notice your state of being in its current state versus where you were before, you know, because that's the kind of stuff that makes a difference. That's the kind of stuff that gave me hope. You know, as I started to make little moves forward, that gave me hope that there was still a direction to go in. I didn't feel like I was going backward anymore. I didn't feel like I was spiraling out of control anymore. And just know we all have a story, right? We all have a story. What you see now, the Chastin that you see today, isn't the Chastin that I once was. It's not. But I worked hard to get to this place because where I was headed, I knew that's not where I wanted to go. Okay, so, you know, I hope that this video encourages somebody. Again, I've been there. It's okay if you're there now, but just know that there's a bright future ahead of us. But it has to come down to the changes that you're willing to make, how open you're willing to be. Ask for help if you need it. Ask for help. I still do it today if I have to. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Do me a favor, let me know down in the comments anything. Let me know anything. You can be as open, it's not open, even if you just want to send me an encouraging message. I read every single one of those. I hope you can subscribe, see some of my future videos. Like this video if you found it valuable or heard something that maybe helped you. Until next time, I'm Chastin J Miles, and I'll talk to you soon.